Rand, I need another episode of Fully Cinematic.
Does Batman make a good combination with the occult? Is 2D animation dead? Today's as good a time to find out as any. So throw on your darkest outfit, grab some holy water, meet me in Gotham City, and scan the sky for the signal so you don't miss my rundown of the doom that came to Gotham. And oh yeah, there will be spoilers. In 1928, Globetrotter Bruce Wayne and his wards, Sanjay Todd and Dick Grayson, fellow orphans that he took in, arrive at the St. Base Station in Antarctica. The base camp is devoid of life but filled with corpses. The journal of Professor Oswald Cobblepot reveals curious happenings, including dogs going mad and a crewman, August Glendon, behaving strangely and listening to a disembodied voice. Investigating the cave in search of the two, Bruce encounters a shirtless and malnourished Glendon babbling about a mysterious entity. When Bruce is attacked by mutated penguins, he picks into the ice, freeing a tentacled creature which enters a black-eyed Glendon through his mouth. Escaping the assault and dropping a rampaging Glendon with one punch, Bruce orders his third ward, Kylie Kane, to bring all of their dynamite, which he uses to seal the cave. Glendon's body is stored in the meat freezer of their ship, the Argo, for the voyage home. Cobblepot, naked and covered in sores, who's assumed dead, looks on from a distance, surrounded by penguins. After deducing the involvement of a cult with long ties to Gotham, Bruce notifies his trusty butler Alfred that the time has come for them to return to his hometown after 20 years away. Upon arriving at port, Sanjay draws the short straw, leaving him to stay aboard with the corpse while the others disembark. The party is greeted at Wayne Manor by Lucius Fox, who as an African-American has been secretly running Wayne Industries, unbeknownst to the public and the board. A strangled corpse is found inside the home. That evening, the last remaining Wayne, who witnessed his parents being stabbed to death as a boy on June 26, 1908, is visited by the mysterious Jason Blood. He delivers a cryptic warning and prophecy before transforming into a flaming monster and fleeing through an upstairs window. Eager to reunite with old friends, Bruce accepts an invitation to a party hosted by big game hunter Oliver Queen. Prominent attorney and mayoral candidate Harvey Dent attends as a surprise guest. Queen reveals that Gotham has experienced an increase in crackpots lately. Dent reveals that local biologist Kirk Langstrom identifies as a bat. After excusing himself, Bruce prowls the rooftops donning a bat costume. Finding cops searching Dr. Langstrom's lab, he does some snooping of his own, which turns up his creepy journal, which mentions the end of the world, the cult of Ghoul, and an ancient tome, the Testament of Ghoul, which they seek. Talia al Ghul kills the book's guardian, who defied Cobblepot's order to destroy it, just before Bruce arrives through a window. The corpse, which reanimates in the form of a flaming djinn, attacks him on her orders, but is accosted himself by Etrigan the demon. Slipping away, Bats catches 812-year-old Talia on the street below, where she confesses to leaving the corpse in his study. The world's greatest detective is then attacked by a giant crocodile creature allied with Talia and only escapes by hopping on a passing train. Arriving at home the following day, he makes his way to the wine cellar in order to analyze the sulfuric substance that the mutant spit onto his guard. When Queen distracts the cops, Dick takes a boat to the Argo where he finds a frozen Sanjay before being attacked by Grendon, bringing a violent end to his Johnny Quest routine. Elsewhere in a subterranean tunnel, Talia performs a ritual involving the djinn, Daitia, scorching the ground in order to conjure her ancient snake-worshipping high priest father, Ra's al Ghul, who goes as far back as 2000 BC. The ghouls plan to open a mystical doorway to an ancient serpent deity. Bruce interrupts the incantation, only to be attacked again by the crocodile, which he disintegrates with chlorine concentrate. Talia attacks with martial arts, giving her pops time to complete the ritual, unleashing a reptile plague on Gotham. Bruce then recalls an old memory of a monster delivering a prophecy about a bat. After listening to a radio announcement of Harvey's win, a victory that coincides with the end of the plague, Ra's interprets these events as a sign that Dent embodies a door to another realm, prompting Talia to stab Grendon in the back with a sword, which causes his disintegrating body to release a seed implanted by the monster in Antarctica, which instantaneously grows into a red-headed woman. Back in the cellar, Alfred finds Master Bruce repeatedly muttering the word doom. Later, the redhead introduces herself to Harvey on the street, smearing a mysterious substance on him as they shake hands. Meanwhile, a grieving Kai Lee breaks into Queen's sanctuary where, dressed in a suit of armor, he reveals that his father lived for over 300 years after making a deal with the demon, and eventually murdered Thomas and Martha Wayne. Armed with 4 arrows used to kill Saint Sebastian, Oliver plans to battle the coming entity in order to atone for his father's sins. Elsewhere, covered in a rash, Dent's diagnosed with a poison ivy infection.
This should be interesting.
The redhead then attacks Queen in his church and shakes off a dagger to the forehead. Unfazed, he detonates a grenade which kills her. When Bruce and Kai Lee arrive, he's barely hanging on himself, dying while talking to his old friend. Dent's rash has mutated half of his body when he's visited by Talia. At Queen's grave, Kai tries in vain to talk Bruce into fleeing Gotham. Chief of Police James Gordon arrives with a message from his daughter Barbara, a paraplegic medium. That night, Alfred tries to talk Bruce into staying home, but he bequeaths the wine cellar/cave to Kylie before leaving in the car, a high-performance roadster. Breaking into Arkham Asylum, he visits another redhead, Babs Gordon. She acts as a conduit for a spirit wrapped in flames. As a boy, he speaks with Thomas Wayne, who was born in 1585, went on to co-found Gotham, and using the Testament of Ghoul, performed a prosperity ritual consisting of animal sacrifice with Bartley Langstrom, Cobblepot, and Henry Queen, which gave them wealth, long life, and cursed their children. The realization of what they'd done drove Langstrom to self-delete, Cobblepot to wander the globe, and the elder Queen to murder the Waynes. After leaving, Bruce shoots a weird potion, reads an incantation, and agrees to an unnamed sacrifice after communing with the cloud of bats. He returns to a Gotham covered in vines and speaks to Harvey at the entrance to a sinister corridor shaped like a... After muscling his way inside, Batsy's attacked by zombified versions of Oliver, Sanjay, and Dick. Killing all three with Saint Sebastian's arrows, the Cape Crusader is thanked by Queen for releasing him. Finding the ghouls performing a ritual on an altar, he attacks Talia, who seems to get the best of him using sorcery. But when she tosses him into a chasm, he shoots his grappling gun through her shoulder and stabs her through the chest with the last arrow. He cuts Raish's arm off with a sword, but having completed the ceremony, he survives, transforming into a monster. As he's being electrocuted by the creature's dark magic, Bruce has visions and remembers the Bat prophecy. Previously skeptical of all the mystical bull, he finally embraces it, triggering a transformation into Batman. Attacking again, he dismembers the beast. It vanishes as the tentacle deity, the lurker on the threshold, descends from another plane. Reeling from his screeching, the Bat remembers the full prophecy, releasing Etrigan from the Jinn's bottle, who attacks the deity as he flies away. Gotham is engulfed in flames shooting from the sewers, with Kai watching from a distance. Months later, she flips Dent's coin at a memorial for Oliver and Harvey. Lucius introduces Kai as the head of the Bruce Wayne Memorial Foundation before she eulogizes Bruce, who's still the Man-Bat hanging upside down in the bell tower. Adapted from the 2000 Elseworlds 3-issue comic series of the same name, Doom is a chilling, albeit convoluted exploration of legacy and has a lot going for it. Refreshingly, there was never a moment in the film that suggested that having teenage sidekicks was a good or even a plausible idea. The kids never helped in the slightest. And all of the reinventions of Batman characters, which include Jason Todd, Killer Croc, Mr. Freeze, the Penguin, Cassandra Cain, Carrie Kelly, Poison Ivy, and Oracle are superb. But the movie's best quality is its tone. It's sincere throughout and never descends into goofiness. On the contrary, it's creepy and the eerie mood is never undermined by any of the cornball jokes that are so prevalent in both live-action and animated comic book movies. You'd be hard-pressed to even find a comic relief character. The Batman and company give John Constantine and his crew a serious run for their money with this thing, both in its brutality and embrace of the macabre. The biggest flaw is the predictable ending. There was never any doubt that Kai Lee would inherit the Wayne throne, Rey Skywalker style. This role went to Tim Drake in the source material, by the way. The real shocker is that she's not actually being set up to take over as Gotham's protector. Also, fans of The Dark Knight may not enjoy seeing him morph into a werebat. Aside from those things, it's worth giving a shot. There are many, many, many worse animated DC films out there. In other news, it's time to check out some comments from other shows. After watching the Avatar is just a fancy white savior movie video, the expert 843 said, I'm one of the rare people who saw it about 2 years after it came out, and my expectations were low, so I liked it. I only regretted not seeing it in theaters for the 3D aspect. I'm one of the people who saw it years later with low expectations too, expert, and I still thought it was. In response to what she saw in the Top Gun Maverick review, Lana Danielle said, yes, tell us about Maverick. After catching my early review of Luther the Fallen Son, Wolverine Scratch 2129 said, maybe resurrect the series again because movie format doesn't really work for Luther. Agreed, Wolverine Scratch. After I pointed out that Octavia 9464 heard my spoiler warning on my Shotgun Wedding early review, watched the entire video, and still complained about spoilers, she said, I'm the kind of person that lets you be aware of how immature you are. But to let you know, I watched J-Lo's Shotgun Wedding and I loved it. It was so cute and funny. Lots of great actors and actresses were in her movie. It was also much better than how you described it. I'm looking forward to watching more of her upcoming movies. Well, Octavia, I'm the kind of person who calls you out on your BS. But anyway, I thought it was a decent movie too, as you know, since you watched the review. Shout out to the Expert 843, Lana Danielle, Wolverine Scratch, and Octavia 9464 for dropping comments. And shout out to everybody who hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. But a good friend of mine passed recently, so that's all you get today. I'm logging off.
Fully cinematic.